The Galactic Assembly Hall buzzed with muted anticipation as representatives from countless star systems gathered under the luminescent glow of the council chamber. General Cathel, a towering figure with hardened scales and piercing eyes, stood at the center, his voice a low growl of authority. The room fell silent as he began. "Esteemed delegates of the Empire," he said, his tone grave, "I bring urgent news regarding a growing threat. Humanity, a species from the fringes of our territory, has risen as a force unlike any we have encountered. They are reckless, resourceful, and cunning, but their most alarming trait lies in their tactics. They employ animals." A ripple of confusion spread through the assembly. A delegate from the technocratic Vol Collective interrupted, clicking its mandibles in disdain. "Animals? Are we to believe a species capable of starflight resorts to primitive, organic creatures for war?" Cothel's eyes narrowed. "You misunderstand. These are no ordinary beasts. They are ruthless, bred for destruction, and trained to execute complex maneuvers that rival our most advanced systems. Where we rely on logic and technology, humans exploit the instincts of their creatures to devastating effect." The assembly murmured, skepticism evident. A scholar from the Cerulean Archive raised a tentacle. "General, forgive my inquiry, but what makes these creatures so formidable that they would warrant our concern?" Cothel's claws raked the surface of the speaking platform as he exhaled deeply. "Because they do not act as mere tools. They hunt, think, and kill with terrifying efficiency. These animals are not controlled in the way we program drones or direct soldiers. They are partners, each one as loyal to its human commander as to its own survival. And it is this bond, this symbiosis, that makes them so dangerous." He paused, letting the weight of his words settle over the assembly. Reports from the Crevan frontline detail entire squads eliminated before they even saw the enemy. Wolves that silently stalked through forests, dogs that sniffed out explosives with precision no scanner could achieve, birds of prey that intercepted communications and disabled reconnaissance drones. These creatures are an extension of humanity's will. A delegate from the mechanized Citron Union scoffed. "Biological life is fragile. How can such tactics prevail against the might of our fleets?" Cothel's glare silenced the skeptic. "Because these creatures exploit our weaknesses. Where our machines falter in harsh terrain, they thrive. Where our scanners fail to detect organic movement, they strike. Humanity has weaponized unpredictability. They are adaptable, relentless, and worst of all, underestimated." Silence descended over the assembly. The enormity of the warning sank in. Cathel leaned forward, his voice a menacing whisper that carried to every corner of the hall. "Do not be fooled by their appearance or the primitiveness of their tools. These so-called ruthless animals are more than weapons. They are humanity's edge. If we do not prepare, we will become their prey." The assembly erupted into debate, but Cathel stepped back, his expression grim. The seeds of doubt had been sown. The Crevan scout team descended onto the human-controlled planet with quiet precision, their cloaking fields blending seamlessly into the shadows of the dense forest. They had been dispatched to verify General Cothel's alarming claims and gather intelligence on the so-called ruthless animals that humanity employed. The alien operatives moved cautiously, their advanced sensors scanning for any sign of movement. It wasn't long before they encountered the aftermath of a recent skirmish. Scorched earth and the remnants of alien machinery lay scattered across the battlefield, twisted and useless. But what unnerved them most were the marks, deep claw gouges in metal, shredded fabric, and blood trails that didn't match human physiology. It was clear this was not the work of conventional weapons. The team pressed on, eventually finding a vantage point overlooking a human encampment. What they saw sent a ripple of unease through their ranks. Humans mingled with creatures of various shapes and sizes, each species exhibiting an aura of quiet menace. Dogs sat at attention near their handlers, their eyes scanning the perimeter with an almost eerie focus. Falcons perched on human shoulders, their sharp gazes fixed on the horizon. Even smaller creatures, like rats and crows, moved with deliberate purpose, as if they understood the gravity of their roles. The lead operative activated a recording device, whispering into it. Visual confirmation of human-animal collaboration. Patterns suggest coordinated behavior. These are no ordinary creatures. Suddenly, the air tensed. A German shepherd lifted its head, ears twitching. Before the team could react, the dog let out a sharp bark, and the entire encampment came alive. Humans sprang into action, releasing the animals into the surrounding forest. The Crevan operatives scattered, their cloaking devices flickering under the strain of rapid movement. One scout found himself pursued by the dog, its speed far outmatching his own. It darted through the underbrush with a predator's grace, teeth bared and eyes locked on its target. The operative managed to fire a plasma burst, missing narrowly but scaring the creature enough to break off its chase. Elsewhere, another scout wasn't as fortunate. A falcon swooped down from above, its talons slicing through the delicate sensors of his visor, leaving him blinded. Disoriented, he stumbled directly into a human patrol, where he was swiftly captured. The remaining operatives regrouped at a safe distance, shaken but alive. They realized with growing dread that these animals weren't just trained, they were strategically deployed. Each one had a specific purpose, acting in ways that complemented human tactics seamlessly. Their leader spoke, his voice trembling. "We are not dealing with mere beasts. They act as though they understand war itself. This is far beyond training. This is symbiosis. The humans and their animals think as one." As they retreated to their extraction point, the operatives couldn't shake the sense of vulnerability. For all their technological superiority, they had been outmaneuvered by creatures who hunted not just with primal instinct, but with calculated precision. The rumors were true, and they were worse than anyone could have imagined. The human prisoner sat calmly in the interrogation chamber, his gaze unwavering despite the imposing presence of General Cathel. For a species considered primitive by the Galactic Empire, he exuded an unsettling confidence. The room, designed to disorient and intimidate, seemed to have no effect on him. Cathel, studying the man closely, decided to break the silence. "Your so-called animals," the general began, his voice sharp, "are unlike anything we've seen. They defy logic, outmaneuver our best operatives, and operate as though they were bred for war. How do you achieve such coordination with creatures incapable of advanced thought?" The human smiled faintly, leaning back as if the question amused him. "You think of them as tools," he replied. "That's your first mistake. They're not mindless weapons, General. They're allies, partners." Cothel's scaled brow furrowed. "Partners? They are beasts, controlled by you. Your dominance ensures their obedience." The human shook his head, his tone calm but firm. "That's where you misunderstand us. These creatures aren't enslaved. We've spent thousands of years evolving together, learning to trust each other. A dog doesn't obey because we command it. It obeys because it believes in us, just as we believe in it. That bond is something your machines, your logic-driven strategies, can never replicate." Cathel narrowed his eyes, unwilling to concede. Even if that is true, loyalty alone cannot explain their effectiveness in combat. What gives them the ability to outmaneuver our forces? What makes them more than mere animals? The prisoner leaned forward, his voice taking on a sharper edge. "Adaptation. Every species you encounter has a purpose, an instinct. Wolves are natural hunters, masters of teamwork and patience. Birds of prey see with clarity and precision no drone can match. Rats, they navigate spaces your technology overlooks. We don't force them to act against their nature. We enhance it, direct it. When a falcon intercepts one of your drones, it isn't following a program. It's hunting, doing what it was born to do, just with a little guidance. Cathal remained silent, processing the implications. The human continued, his tone now edged with pride. Your empire relies on predictability, algorithms, strategies, and the belief that technological superiority guarantees victory. But animals don't follow your patterns. They don't calculate, they act. And that unpredictability? That's what makes them so dangerous. You can't counter what you don't understand. A screen flickered to life beside them, displaying footage from a recent battle. Cathal watched as a pack of dogs flanked a Crevan patrol, their movements coordinated but instinctive. They drove the soldiers into an ambush, where a group of humans awaited. Elsewhere, a falcon dived into a Crevan drone, tearing through its sensor array and rendering it useless. Cathal clenched his jaw, his frustration mounting. You risk much, relying on chaos to win your wars. The human chuckled softly. It's not chaos. It's trust. We trust them and they trust us. Together, we're stronger than you can imagine. That's what makes us dangerous, General. Not the animals, not even our technology. It's the way we work together. That's something you'll never replicate. Cathal stared at the man, realizing the truth behind his words. Humanity's strength lay not in their beasts, but in their ability to form connections that transcended the boundaries of species. A bond forged through trust, loyalty, and mutual purpose. A bond the Empire was wholly unprepared to face. General Cathal stood once more before the Galactic Assembly, his expression darker than ever. His findings from the recon mission and the interrogation left no doubt in his mind. Humanity was not just a rising power. It was a force that defied conventional understanding. The gathered delegates sensed his unease and waited in tense silence as he began to speak. My warning was dismissed as exaggeration, Cathal said, his voice low and commanding. But now I bring irrefutable proof. Humanity's use of animals in warfare is not merely a primitive tactic. It is a revolution in strategy. These creatures are not tools, not slaves. They are partners in every sense, and it is this partnership that makes them unlike any foe we have faced. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Delegates exchanged uneasy glances, their skepticism now tainted with fear. Cathal continued, his tone sharp. I have witnessed the loyalty these animals show to their human counterparts. They act with a level of intelligence and precision that cannot be dismissed as coincidence. Where we rely on technology to perform calculations and simulations, humans rely on trust and instinct, traits that cannot be hacked, jammed, or predicted. Their strength lies not in their weapons, but in their ability to form bonds that transcend logic. This makes them unpredictable, adaptable, and utterly ruthless. A delegate from the Vol Collective raised a trembling voice. Are you suggesting that our fleets, our armies, and our technology are no match for creatures that operate on instinct? Surely this is an exaggeration. Cathal fixed the delegate with a glare. It is no exaggeration. Their instincts, amplified by millennia of coevolution with humans, make them more effective than any drone or synthetic construct. They can act independently, yet in perfect harmony with their human counterparts. We fight with machines that require commands. They fight with allies who anticipate their needs without orders. Tell me, how do you counter an enemy that moves as one with its environment, whose unpredictability is its greatest weapon? The assembly fell silent, the weight of Cathal's words sinking in. He turned his gaze across the room, his voice growing more urgent. This is not a matter of superior firepower or advanced technology. It is a question of adaptability. Humanity has thrived on chaos, forged alliances with creatures others would dismiss as insignificant, and turned them into their greatest strength. If we underestimate them again, it will be our undoing. Before anyone could respond, a message interrupted the proceedings. The chamber's central screen flickered to life, displaying the unmistakable image of a human fleet entering the system. The room erupted in panic, But the transmission that followed silenced everyone. "This is Commander Elena Vasquez of the Terran Alliance," a calm voice declared. "We come in peace, seeking dialogue and mutual understanding. We hope the Galactic Empire will hear our offer before resorting to hostility." Cothel's claws tightened against the edge of his podium. He studied the faces of the delegates, some debating retaliation, others considering the message's sincerity. But his own thoughts were a swirl of doubt. Was this an act of genuine diplomacy or a calculated move to mask their readiness for war? As the assembly deliberated, Cothel's warning echoed in his mind. Humanity was not to be trusted, not because of malice, but because they wielded something far more dangerous than weapons: unity, adaptability, and a connection with the natural world that the Galactic Empire could neither replicate nor understand. The galaxy was no longer theirs alone.